The gods have heard my calling to football gods here, and we certainly have a bunch of transfer news for Manchester City that is very interesting. So, yesterday I did a stream complaining about Manchester City is doing nothing in transfer window. Certainly, we're getting a bunch of news here. Now, this is the most interesting piece of news, I believe. Andre Lunin. There's also this, I'll talk about that later, but I don't find it very interesting, and I'll tell you why. But first, Andre Lunin. Now, at Real Madrid, he is second goalkeeper, behind Thibaut Courtois. Goalkeepers usually have a later prime. Courtois is like only 30 years old, I believe. Let me see. So goalkeepers, they have a later prime, yet 32. So it's entirely possible for Courtois to remain Real Madrid's goalkeeper until he's 36. You can't compare it with like strikers and stuff, which most strikers are done by the time they're like 34, right? An average goalkeeper is still gonna be world class at 34. Especially with these modern like treatments and stuff. That's why, for example, Buffon, many people praise his longevity, but there's actually a lot of goalkeepers that have that type of longevity. So Andre Lunin, he's potentially looking at, he's at Real Madrid here. If Thibaut Courtois takes care of himself as well as Buffon did, doesn't get any more injuries, that guy could be Real Madrid's goalkeeper until he's 37, 38. That's another 6 years. Is Lunin gonna wait a second place after playing so amazing for Real Madrid? And he's not gonna get the number 1 spot. And we all know he's not. And how do we know that he's not getting that number 1 spot? Because it was proven. Courtois is fit for the Champions League final. Gone. Lunin on the bench. Get on the bench, mate. That's quickly. So, we already know Lunin isn't getting number 1 spot. He's not getting time at Real Madrid probably. And if he has any ambition, he wants to have that time. So Lunin makes sense. Was amazing for Real Madrid last season. I have been very impressed by him so far. He was decent, I guess, in the Euros. Made some poor mistakes in the first game he played, but for the rest he's been decent. And I would like him. And we can promise him game time. We can say, you'll get 30% of the Premier League games. You'll get all the cup games, except for maybe the finals, and you'll play in some Champions League group stage games, which is probably more than he will get at Real Madrid, because Real Madrid is currently looking at rotating 3 goalkeepers. All 3 of them are very good in my opinion. I think Kepa is very underrated. So Lunin is probably in a better position if he comes to Manchester City. Now, if Ederson is leaving, that solves our biggest issue, which should have never been an issue by the way. But okay, Ederson is suddenly leaving, so now that is an issue we suddenly have of we need a backup goalkeeper. Now, then we go on to Calafiori. And well, first of all, I think he's going to Arsenal, if I'm being very honest with you. I don't believe he's going to Manchester City. But there's rumors that Manchester City want him, so I'm not gonna read through this article. I don't know how true it is. I just don't find it likely. I find it more likely he goes to Arsenal. But I have read something, and I can't remember for the life of me where I read it. If I can find, I think it was on Reddit actually, on Reddit, like the app. And it was pretty much saying Manchester City wants Calafiori to play him as like a defensive midfielder as a Rodri backup. And I was like, I haven't watched this guy play. I don't know if he will be good at that. So, I don't know. Maybe that guy didn't know what he was talking about. I don't watch fucking Bologna. And at Euros he played 2 decent games and 2 terrible games. So, I don't know how good he is. You guys tell me what you think about Calafiori. And then we'll go on to maybe some transfer news that I might have been wrong about here. And that is Daniel Olmo. So like £51 million release clause. So if this is the real release clause, by the way, and this is David Ornstein, by the way, the guy who gets most of this stuff correct. 51 million. If that is the actual real release clause here of Daniel Olmo, that is fucking cheap. We got Haaland for 65 million, I believe. And then Dani Olmo for 51 million. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think Dani Olmo is the greatest player in that position in the world. Unlike Haaland was at the time. This season he's been a bit bored, but he'll be back next season. Anyhow, that's besides the point. Dani Olmo. When I first talked about Dani Olmo, I had a lot of negative things to say about him. His decision making is poor. He's slow to make the correct choices. He often makes the wrong choices. When he gets in high pressure situations, he fumbles. That's the type of criticism I've been giving him so far. And the thing I've been praising him on is he has good technique. But that's about all he had. And simply having good technique is not good enough for going to Manchester City. In the Euros, he has shown that he has at least the potential to make good decisions quickly and of course he's come on mainly as a substitute, of course, and to perform in high pressure situations. Now, I don't like buying players on basis of international performances, but I already know he has good technical ability, right? It's just, what about the rest? What he's showing in the Euros shows me that there's at the very least a player with potential there that we can mold. Now, would I rather want Florian Wirtz all day of the week? All day. But if we can't get Florian Wirtz, if we can't get Musiala, if we can't get whatever, name the player, right? Dani Olmo might be a really good signing. And maybe Dani Olmo is the Bernardo Silva replacement. Like, I don't know. I've watched a bit of Leipzig. I can see that actually. Instead of a De Bruyne replacement, we have him as a Bernardo Silva replacement. And then we buy Florian Wirtz for De Bruyne. But try to get Florian Wirtz first, right? But this is actually something that I've changed my mind about. I was very negative towards Dani Olmo when the rumors first began, I suppose. But now I've softened up a bit to him. I've also read some great arguments that some people have had over Twitter. Like, oh my god, a great argument over Twitter. Who can imagine that, right? Usually it's dumb people there. But I've read some good arguments on Twitter as well as why he would fit into Manchester City's system well. And I've talked with some other City fans here in Belgium, what they think of Dani Olmo. And the response was a bit mixed. But I find myself being a bit more convinced now of Dani Olmo than I was before the Euros. With that said, don't judge a player by how to play for their international team. Look at Cody Gakpo, look at Darwin Núñez. Amazing for their international teams, but my god, they weren't very good for Liverpool really now. So, well, Cody Gakpo wasn't great for the Netherlands either this year, or this tournament. He was very good in 2022 World Cup though. He was amazing in the Qatar World Cup. Anyhow, this is no longer on topic at all, so thank you guys for watching the video to the end. Please tell me down below what you think about all these transfers that I've talked about in the video. And yeah, if you stick around to the end and you're new here, please consider liking and subscribing to the video. Helps out a ton. Really helps out a ton. I'm hoping to get 100 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you guys would like to help me to get there, I would truly appreciate that. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.